Peter Levy.
Radio City on 194.
26.5 past 3 on City Extra on this Thursday afternoon. My guest in the studio now having Liverpool tea, and I can see enjoying every minute of it.
Very nice.
Very
Very
nice.
nice.
You came back to England in 1967 when you were doing very well in Australia. Why did you come back?
Because we felt that we felt we were good enough to compete with a world market like England, where if you go to England you get known internationally. In Australia you can't get known internationally. It's a great country, and its artists they have a lot of magnificent talent in Australia, but it never gets out because you have to leave to get out. You know.
Yeah, I might add too that we weren't doing that terrifically well with records.
Well, we had a number one
Australia.
single at the time that we left.
When we left, our record
And it
was
was the
number
first
one as
one.
we were leaving.
Yeah.
I gather there's a Liverpool connection with your coming back to Britain as well, because you sent some tapes to Beatles manager Brian Epstein.
That's right. We were signed by NEMS, yes.
And you were quite lucky because you signed a 5-year contract with the record company almost straight away, is
Yeah.
that right? What happened then?
Well, we went into Polydor Studios, demo studios at Stratford Place in London, to come up with some ideas. We'd written some songs on the ship coming back. One was called 1 Minute Woman, Turn of the Century, and there might have been a couple of others. Those tracks turned up on the Bee Gees' first album, the Bee Gees' First, which was the first English album. And we went to Polydor to try and to write some more stuff and do some demos and get ready for an album, which is what Robert wanted us to do. And our first night in Polydor, we sat out in the darkness of the stairway where the lift is, and we wrote New York Mining Disaster that night. So we cut that demo that night. Also, Red Chair Fade Away and Please
Close
Please
Another
Me,
Door.
Close Another Door, and
No, Red. Sorry. Close My Eyes.
I Close My Eyes.
That was the one.
Yeah.
Got a very good memory, haven't you?
Oh yeah, well you can't forget.
Can't forget.
He's got it written on the back of his hand. Carries it out all through his entire life.
You were marketed as the new Beatles and sold as the Beatles' successors.
Well, I think the terminology was
We didn't have any, yeah.
no,
No,
the
the
most
most
significant musical talent of 1967. That was the promotional terminology. You know.
This
Yeah,
is something
so
that was never thought of by us. I mean, we didn't have any control over how they were going to sell us. We were very green at the time, but we knew our music. That was the only thing. And we would say, oh, whatever.
would frighten us,
Everyone
you know.
else knew more than we did, so you sell us the best way you know how.
They kept saying to us, "You are the most significant musical talent in 1967." This is what Robert would say, and this is what the publicity was, and it would frighten us because, my God, how can we be that? We're just writing our songs.
Well, we didn't
we're
even
just
think that at
starting.
the time. We thought, well, they know what they're doing. We were green. We weren't scared of people coming up to us and saying, "All right, be significant."
When I first saw the poster, I just thought, oh, that's nice. Isn't that nice?
When we were only me and Morris were 17, Barry was at 19, 20. You look at a nice poster that says the most significant new musical talent of or whatever, and you think, oh, that's nice, and you think, it's great.
That's right.
And you love it. You don't sort of analyse it.
Did the Beatles have any effect on your style of music
Oh,
or anything you were
yes.
doing?
And I think you have to say that they did it to everyone. I mean, anyone that loved the Beatles tried to copy
They
them.
did.
It's
The only
simply-
thing I resented was the idea of being compared with them in the publicity thing, like the new Beatles and things like that. I didn't want to be a new Beatles. I wanted to be a first Bee Gees. Although we were tremendously influenced by the Beatles, always have been. I mean,
I don't think there's any group today that can't say they haven't been influenced by the Beatles.
yeah. But it's not always you don't want to sound like someone else to be successful. But you want to be have your own sound.
I mean, just listening to Imagine then, I got a little chill. The fact that we're in
The back
city.
door's open. Shut that door, will you? Ow.
No, the fact that it started right in this city, and to hear that and to know that the man's gone, it's a great shame.
It's sad.
You did your first American tour in 1968. How did that go down?
In 1968, not very well.
Like a
We
lead
did-
balloon.
Yeah.
Put it bluntly. Thanks.
Why?
Well,
You're not getting away that
we
easy.
weren't. Somebody actually came up to us and said, "Be significant."
No. We were promoted as being this amazing thing.
That's right.
And we didn't. The promotion wasn't done right in America, where we could pull people into places like stadiums, and they booked us in 13,000 seaters and things like that the first tour, and they didn't take into consideration that we were petrified. One, that we weren't ready to turn a 13,000 seater stadium into something incredible, and we just weren't ready. And we did about. In fact, before anyone saw us, we had to cancel about half the shows, and we did one in LA, which was a great success, and we did one in New York, which was a great success. But even to this day, I think it was papered to some extent.
I'm sure the question everybody is going to expect me to ask you, and I'm going to. Why did you split up?
We split up. We know why we split up. It's very easy to talk about now. It wasn't easy to talk about when it happened. But now, as we look back on it, and we're able to reflect much better because we're more or less grown up, that it was the fact that we were very young. We got fame very fast. We didn't know how to use the fame ourselves. It was just overnight. We were very young, as Morris said, we were 17 and 20 years old. So fame and money came very fast, and once you got fame and money, you think you got power, but you don't, and you start getting egotistical, and you start hitting out at each other as brothers. That was a terrible thing, and that's what we did.
Did you row with each other?
Oh, yeah.
You all wanted to go in different directions?
Yeah. And we didn't even know what. You know, I mean, that's how, that shows how ridiculous it was.
I also must
know.
add to it, and in that particular time span, we were also being edged on by people saying that you can do better without the other brothers, you don't need the other brothers. And each brother was getting this, you know, so and then the trades would say one thing that one brother said one week, and then the other brother would answer it the following week, to the comments from the week before, and it was getting into such a vicious circle that it got a lot blown out of proportion.
Yeah.
And what do you think of the time when you were on your own? Were you happy? Were you enjoying yourself?
No. But Robin actually said it very well about 10 years ago when we came back together again, and that is that it's fantastic to have a hit single on your own, but you've got no one to share it with. There isn't one person you can say, wow, we're number one. Even your manager, even
Or you
no
want
matter
to
who
say,
else.
oh, that's nice, love, you know.
You know, to fully understand what you've done to get a number one record, you have to have done it with somebody, you know. So together we usually feel a bit sorry for solo artists who can't share what they're doing with someone and can't celebrate it unless it's a manager, and you do make up for that. You celebrate it together. But for a lot of solo artists, it's not that way, you know. It's between us. When we have a hit, you know, and the three of us get up about it, you know.
Yeah.
Robin takes baths. He
takes his gloves off.
doesn't mean that he doesn't take baths.
I know, I have a bath with my gloves on.
With your gloves on? I beg your pardon.
It's not that he's dirty, but
No.
But you never know when someone's going to leave the door open, he's going to get a chill. You know?
The fact that three of us are sitting on one side of the table and he's on the other.
thing.
When you did get back together, you got a lot of bad press as well, didn't you?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't want us to get back together.
No.
The press were having too much of a field day.
Yes, I remember that now, you're right.
Yeah.
There were a lot of people, I don't know, there was a lot of, I think we made a lot of
Animosity.
enemies during
Animosity
the breakup, because we had people were on Barry's side, some people were on my side, some people were on Morris'
No,
side.
I was in the middle. I never got
All right,
involved.
nobody was on Morris's side.
I was neutral.
Right, Morris, nobody was on his side. but Barry had people on his side, the Mike Ledgerwoods, who shall remain nameless.
No, he wasn't.
And you know,
side. Jesus, I didn't know that.
right?
I didn't know Mike was on my side.
No, he was on my side.
Right.
No, he was on Colin's side.
Well,
Yeah.
whoever.
But whoever. All that friction
by
at
the
the
by,
time.
isn't it?
But on the same token, I think enemies were made in the press because they wanted one to say this, one to say that, and they were sort of using, you know, as little chess games.
Well, that's
When we
what
got
the
back
papers.
together again, they sort of thought, oh, you know, that's not what I wanted you to do, the Lego trips, you know, and then they start writing against the group.
Animosity, just the will to destroy us.
Yeah,
you
she
know.
did it as well, animosity.
Were you still searching at this time for the Bee Gees sound? Because I don't think it was until 1975 and the album there, Main Course, that you really became the kind of band that we associate with the Bee Gees.
That's right.
Yeah, I guess that's
I don't
true.
know. I think we always had our own sound.
But we're still looking. You know, we go on doing that. We must go on doing that because we believe that the reason that we have stayed around as long as we have is the ability to get into different kinds of music, not to necessarily jump trends or to do things, just to get into that kind of thing. Like some people are into rock and roll, some people are into classics, and you shouldn't isolate it to just one taste. If you love music as a whole and what it means and what it represents and the fun it is to construct, if you're able to do so, you then tend to get into all kinds of music instead of one. And you can't stay in one channel. You can't say, this is my music, I'm going to stand with it, you know. Because we love all kinds of music. We'll sing folk songs, we'll sing country songs, we'll sing R&B songs. And we don't care if people don't relate to that. We just have to keep doing it because we believe that's the key. Changeability.
Talking of which, you know, getting back to the new album, it's different again, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's have a listen now to the one that we've heard most often just at the moment, because it's the hit single, Living Eyes.